It is Obi-Wan Kenobi Wednesday evening. Come, let us meditate like a Jedi. Let us begin by playing with the latest iteration of All Good One's Easy Meditation. This week I've been bouncing between different computers and I am terribly disoriented right now. Here's what I want to do. Bear with me, if you please. Let's see. Control Shift Asterisk. Did I really do that? I did really do that. Oh well. Let's keep it moving. In gym class or in PE, physical education, they taught us to first warm up, then have our workout, then do a cool down. And we're going to follow a similar paradigm. The view of reality that supports letting go is the first fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. It could be described as Mahayoga's wisdom warm-up. Let's make sure this is centered properly. That'll work. And let's hit, let's see, Control Shift Asterisk, make it look pretty. Please chant with me. Rather than indulge or controlling tendencies with all follies of active visualization, emotion, magic, and belief, we could just recite these wise words in harmony with our breathing and allow our subconscious to do the heavy lifting. Too much Szechuan oil for dinner. Yes, all class, all the time. Whoops, wrong button. Let us therefore sidestep the rigidity that confuses metaphors with statements literal, and relax into the flexibility that savors the chance explaining metaphors as similes. Okay, let us begin with the word may. In this context, may does not infer a supplication to a real or imaginary celestial entity. We are simply using words to guide our own intention. That's it. We're using our intention to guide our mind in the direction that will support our parasympathetic nervous system's wiring to help us let go. Let's look at the word circumstances. The Buddha was fond of organizing all that could be perceived in terms of the four bases of mindfulness: the circumstantial, the physical, the interpersonal, and the mental. This evening, we're going to begin with the circumstantial, with circumstances whose monosyllabic synonym would be lots. Humans have evolved to think symbolically. Therefore, in every culture, there are figures of speech. We are going to use the verb melt as a metaphor of impermanence. We're going to infer the verb absorb as a metaphor of interdependence. Now, we are already aware of these things, but playing with them is useful for a type of intellectual warm-up. Finally, every forester is familiar with the idea of using fire to fight fire. Similarly, we're going to use self-centeredness in an effort to transcend self-centeredness, which is deliciously ironic. Please chant with me. May we see how all circumstances or lots could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this body or form. So now we're going to take all these words and allow them to coalesce into six syllables that we're going to divide between our inhalation and our exhalation. Together. May we feel how all bodies or forms could be as impermanent and interdependent, as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this communication or speech. Together. May we hear how all interpersonal speech could be as impermanent and interdependent, as if it could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this mind. Now we're going to take it a step further. If one is curious about meditation and does some reading, it won't take very long until one heads face first into the brick wall of emptiness. When emptiness is explored literally, it's nonsensical. It only makes sense when we explore it figuratively. Now, any good English teacher will remind us that a simile is only as useful as it is relatable. So on the next page, we're going to explore a real-world example of a non-graspable, vast empty void. Together. May we feel how all perceiving, emoting, intending, thinking, recalling, and imagining minds could be as impermanent and interdependent, as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into a vast empty void. Like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although tantalizing to the eye, could be not graspable to the hand. We now turn to the seventh and eighth folds of the Buddha's Eightfold Path, which are often described as Hatha Yoga's mindfulness and meditation. I look forward to explaining this to you in great detail after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I've spent about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each school of meditation so that you will not have to. Welcome, my friends, to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. And as promised, we're now going to explore Hatha Yoga's mindfulness and meditation. Now, I got to remind you that just as a Rolls Royce or a Tesla requires a paved road upon which to travel. Similarly, Anta Yoga depends upon Mudra Anuyoga's finger-oriented energy work. So, quick like a buddy, I'm going to hit the centering button because that's how we like it. Whoopsie, let's try that again. Copy, and now let's make sure the graphics are actually on the page, and they're not. So, I'm going to do the old drag-a-rooney. And we're going to skip ahead. Here we go now. Paste. There we go. Let's make sure that's on the screen. Fabulous. Okay. So, Anu Yoga refers to energy work, and Mudra refers to finger positions, or finger yoga, if you wish. And that's what we're going to play with. So we're going to play with one of two collections of 12 sets of 12 rounds. And I'd like to show you how that works. So brace yourself for the war crime that is Jumbo Cam. But first, I must edit the screen because life is funny that way. Okay, there we go. Close enough. So I'm going to hit button 4 and subject you to Jumbo Cam. It would be cool if I had a wonderful, scary effect, audio effect I could put there, but I don't. So here we go. Ooh, I thought of a way I could do it. So, but not now. Let us pretend that a round is simply one inhalation and one exhalation working together as a team. Because, if you don't exhale, you're going to turn blue, fall over, wiggle funny, and frighten the dog. So, during each inhalation, we can advance the right thumb. And over the span of 12 inhalations, we could advance the thumb thusly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now that's only about, let's think here. That's going to be like 1 or 2 minutes. That's not a substantial chunk of time. So if you want to meditate for at least an hour, you're going to have to do more than that. So we're going to collect 12 sets of these 12 rounds on our left hand. And so at the completion of at the completion of our 12 rounds, we advance our left thumb, always beginning with the little finger first, just like in Jiu-Jitsu. So 1, 2, 3 sets of 12 rounds. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 sets of 12 rounds. So we're going to count at least 2 collections of this. Now let's dig in. So let's go back to button 9. And quick like a bunny, I'm going to tap this button. Okay, so here's the wild thing. We keep track of our first collection of 144 rounds thusly. By resting the great knuckle at the base of our right index finger upon the tip of our left index finger. And by placing these two hands palms up in our lap so that each thumb might happily count its creases, we are gently inviting our subtle energies to coalesce at our crown. Whether you feel it or not, whether you believe it or not. I want to make sure that everything, oh yes, here we go. Un momento, I'm going to hit Control and Shift and Asterisk. Now I got to do a quick edit. I know it's a drag, I apologize for that, but I have got to do what I have got to do. So let's see here. And there it is. Fabulous. We're going back over here. And I'm going to another file real quickly. I've already have it opened. Oh gosh, here we go. Splendid. Let's hit copy. And let's go back to the file de jour. Splendid. So I would like to explain to you mindfulness and meditation through the lens of neuroscience. Okay, here's how it works. First, I'll explain what not to do. Sturgeon's law reminds us that 90% of everything sucks, but not in the fun, tingly way. What could that suckiness look like? It means instead of humans being flexible, loving, laid back, rational, egalitarian, lucid, cooperative, and kind, most of us tend to be rigid, fearful, superstitious, controlling, elitist, cryptic, competitive, and cruel. And when these people teach meditation, they implore their students to actively focus and actively analyze. And they use all sorts of synonyms, some accurate and some inaccurate. But the problem is the only part of our brain that can focus, no less analyze, are the discrete mechanisms or pathways found in such regions as the medial prefrontal cortex or the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. So what? Also this. When we overuse our prefrontal cortex, we wind up triggering our almond-shaped amygdala, which is the seat. Here it is, spoiler alert. It's the seat of our anxiety and aggression. So how ironic is it that we put all this effort into focus and analysis only to become more anxious and cranky? I don't want to be anxious and cranky. I don't think you do either. Fortunately, the entirety of our central nervous system is comprised of more than just two components. Check this out. Let's explore mindfulness. Every time we inhale, whether we know it or not, we are wired. We have evolved to automatically access our sympathetic nervous system ensconced within the middle third of our spinal cord. This bad boy has evolved to help us to notice things vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly, which I'm sure you will agree is the opposite of rigid concentration. But what have we evolved to notice? We've evolved to notice mind's antics of perception. You know, seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, smelling, and the like, including emotions, intentions, cognitions, recollections, and imaginings. Or, there you go. The easiest way to do all of this is to simply silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during each inhalation. But what about meditation? Every time we exhale, whether we know it or not, we are wired to effortlessly access our parasympathetic nervous system, ensconced within both the lower third of our spinal cord as well as its upper third. This bad boy has evolved to support both physical relaxation as well as mental release. To such a degree, it could help us to relax, to so relax in harmony with our exhalation that whatever we perceived during our previous inhalation could at least fleetingly feel somewhat less solid, less permanent, and less defining. You know, until the next inhalation. How do we do this? Simple. Silently and mentally, we recite the one-syllable verb ease during each exhalation. Let's practice. We now come to our second collection of 144 breaths. I'd like to explain how this works, this time with the crotch cam. So I'm going to slide the computer back and angle the camera down. So this is my right hand. And during each inhalation, I can advance my right thumb. Over the course of 12 inhalations, my thumb could advance thusly, beginning with the little finger, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now that will only take a minute or two. So if we want this collection to last at least 15 minutes, we're going to have to count multiple sets of 12 rounds. We count the sets on our left hand, once again beginning with our little finger. And so at the completion of each collection, each set of 12 rounds, we would advance our left thumb thusly, 1, and then 2, and then 3 sets of 12 rounds. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 sets of 12 rounds. But wait, there's more. To keep track of this, our second collection, we're going to rest the great knuckle at the base of our right middle finger upon the tip of our left middle finger in our hand. So we got a lot of stuff going on. If this seems overwhelming, that's okay. Remember, repetition is the mother of skill. If you keep coming to these live streams once every 12 hours, then within a week or two, you can master this entire system. Now, as an extra added bonus, doing so will cause our activating our middle knuckle thusly could induce our subtle energies. To coalesce in our chest. The late Tulku Thondup taught that mindfulness was simply watching the play of mind, watching it vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly, as it perceived, emoted, intended, reasoned, recalled, and imagined. The easiest way to do this is to silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during each inhalation. The late Chagdud Tulku taught the meditation was simply relaxing into the nature of mind. And so here's the wild thing. By relaxing in harmony with our exhalation, that which we perceived during our previous inhalation could fleetingly feel less solid, less permanent, and even less defining. Let's practice. Welcome to this evening's live stream. Having played with silent meditation, we now prepare for mantra meditation. Let us begin by exploring an explanation of this mantra. Please chant with me. I invoke teachers home action on meditation and Hung Vu than the Benzatantric. Guru teachers Pema enlightenment and siddhi abilities whom may be mastered by all. So we're going to play with 9 collections of 12 rounds for a total of 108. The final 4 collections will be devoted to mantra loving kindness. The first 5 collections will be devoted towards mantra meditation. But how does that work? During each inhalation, we could silently and mentally recite, relaxing into this. But what is this? The demonstrative pronoun this refers to whatever seems to pierce our sphere of awareness. Whether it is a sight, a sound, a sensation, a flavor, or scent, or the like. Whether it is an emotion, an intention, a thought, a memory, or an imagining. Be it external or internal, physical or mental, pleasurable or painful, interesting or boring, glorious or grotesque. Our job is not to reach, our job is not to shove, our job is just to notice. And while exercising the courage of vulnerability. What do we do during our exhalation? 2 things. First, we physically relax as best we can, while, second, striving to chant this 12-syllable mantra 3 times per breath. Now, if this is your first time hanging out with me or hanging out with me, please give yourself permission to have a learning curve. For the goal, the most important thing is not how perfectly or rapidly you pronounce the mantra, or how melodiously you chant the mantra, but simply how well you're able to relax in harmony with your exhalation. Everything else is just gravy. And by the way, remember, repetition really is the mother of skill. If you come to these live streams once every 12 hours or so, then within a week or 2, you will master this. Om Ahum Benzo Guru Me Masiri Hum. 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 To mark our second collection of 12 rounds, we can touch the tip of our left thumb to our left index finger and rest our wrist upon our left knee. Om Ahum Benzo Guru Me Masiri Hum. 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 Om Ahum Benzo Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hun. Om Mahum 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 Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hun. To mark our third collection of 12 rounds, we can touch the tip of our left thumb to our left middle finger and rest our left wrist upon our right knee. I'm sorry, left knee. Don't want to play a game of Twister now, do we? Om Muni Muni Om Mahum Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hun. 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 To keep track of our fourth collection of 12 rounds, we can gingerly touch the tip of our left thumb to our left ring finger, and then rest this left wrist upon our left knee. Om Mahum Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hun. 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 To keep track of our fifth collection of 12 rounds, we can gingerly touch the tip of our left thumb to the tip of our left little finger, resting the left wrist upon our left knee. Om Mahum Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hun. 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 We began with Mahayoga's wisdom warm-up. We continued with silent mindfulness, silent meditation, and then mantra meditation. Now we conclude with Mahayoga's compassionate cool-down, for loving kindness comprises 50% of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. Please chant with me. Rather than indulge or controlling tendencies with the follies of active visualization, emotion, magic, and belief. Well, this is an editing opportunity. We could just recite these kind words in harmony with our breathing and allow our subconscious to do the heavy lifting. Let us therefore sidestep the rigidity that confuses metaphors for statements literal, and relax into the flexibility that savors the chance explaining metaphors as similes. So, consider the word may. May here, in this context, does not infer a supplication to an imaginary celestial entity. Au contraire, it infers that we are simply using words to guide our intention in an empathetic direction, which is our birthright. For each of us possess an anterior cingulate gyrus, the seat of empathy. Please chant with me. May all minds of all beings know be as peacefully enlightened as the mind of a real or imagined Buddha symbolized by a tikle one syllable seed or bija mantra. We're now going to take all these words and we're going to coalesce them into just 6 syllables that we're going to divide between our inhalation and our exhalation. To keep track of this, our 6th collection of the 12 rounds of the Pema Jigme mantra, we are going to touch the tip of our left thumb to our left little finger, and then rest our hands upon our left wrist upon our left thigh. May we be a font of blessing for all which we think or who think of us. If you've just joined me, what we're going to do is silently and mentally recite these the 6-syllable condensation or abbreviation of our compassionate intention during our inhalation. During our exhalation, we're going to do 2 things. We're going to, as we exhale, we're going to physically relax as best we can while striving to chant this 12-syllable mantra 3 times per breath. Now, if this is your first time hanging out with me or hanging out with me, then by all means give yourself permission to have a learning curve. Om Ahum Benzo Guru Me Masiri Hum 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 Mazuri Hun. Om Menzo Guru Me Mazuri Hun. Om Menzo Guru Me Mazuri Hun. Om Menzo Guru Me Mazuri Hun. Allow me to remind you that the mental morality of kind intention is the second fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. Please chant with me. May all relationships or speech of all beings know be as joyfully loving as a real or imagined Buddha speech symbolized by a multisyllabic mantra. Ooh, look at that. May we be a font of blessing for all who we hear speak of here. For all who we hear speak of here, or who speak of us. Oh, oopsie. I got ahead of myself. I guess I didn't. Om Ahum Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hung. 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 The interpersonal morality of kind communication is the third fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. Let's see here. I think there's an easier way about this. Please bear with me. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's hit this button and this one. And let's go back over here and see what damage is going on. Aha. So let's go over to the webcam and do some finagling. There we go. Together. May all bodies or forms of all beings know and enjoy the beautiful health represented by Buddha statuary, depicting the blissful body of a real or imagined Yadam archetype of enlightenment such as Kuntu Zangpo. Let us now to keep track of our 8th collection of 12 mantra repetitions. Let us rest the tip of our left thumb upon the tip of our left middle finger, then rest this wrist upon our left thigh. That's just not moving. What's going on? Okay, let's try this again. So we take all these words and coalesce them down to just 6 syllables. May we be a font of blessing for all who we touch or who touch us. Om Ahum Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hum. 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 The physical morality of kind conduct, also known as non-violence, is the fourth fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. May all circumstances, all lots of all beings now have that safe fortune or good. As a Buddha's real or Ramajan paradise, pure land of Vanti. For us to help us keep track of the 9th and final collection of 12 repetitions of the mantra, we could touch the tip of our left thumb to our left index finger and rest this left wrist upon our left thigh. May we be a font of blessing for all we see or who see us. Om Ahum Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hum. 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 The circumstantial morality of kind commerce is the fifth fold of the Buddha's eightfold path. Congratulations, my friends. You've taken your first step into a much larger world. If you feel that I've earned it, you could give this a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately a 10